Alright guys, Teacher Booth here again, and this is how do I edit the way my scene looks. So open up a default project and click on the scene, and up top here you'll see game and scene. Click on scene and underneath attribute. Right here, this is how you control the way your scene looks. As you can see, it says scene 1, that's the name of the scene I have. And if you go down to size here, the default size is 480 by 320, and that's the same for the iPhone and the iPod Touch. But let's say you want a larger workspace for your game. For the width, I'm going to change this to 3000, and you'll see over here, when I press enter, we now have a bigger workspace, and I can scroll over and you can see how large that is. The same can be done for the height, so let's put this back down to 480, and let's turn the height to 3000. You'll now see that I can go as high as I want. You can do the both 3000 by 3000, and now you have an even larger workspace for your game to take place in. Notice that the screen size is still the same, so as your actor moves you can control the camera to go wherever you want in your game area. Let's go 480 by 320. Now down here you have wrap X and wrap Y. X is left to right and Y is up and down. And this is used for when you want your actor to leave one side and come back through the other. Then you would hit the wrap. And then if you want to go down and come back out the top, you would hit the wrap Y. And I'll show you an example of that in just a moment. Next is gravity. Set to 0, go to game, and then put a new actor in here. Now gravity is set to 0, you hit preview, it just stays there. Unless you put a move or an accelerate rule on there, it's not going anywhere. But if you go back into scene, attributes, and put some gravity, let's say 300, you'll notice now that it drops. There's no rules on it, it just drops as if you dropped a ball in the air and it fell to the ground. And obviously the more gravity you put, the faster and harder it will fall. Now I just learned a cool feature the other day that I didn't know we could do. We can actually have negative gravity, so you can go negative 300, and then I'll show you here that it actually goes up. So that's negative gravity. Now I'll show you the wrap feature now that we have an actor on the scene. So let's wrap the Y, that's the up and down, and you'll see here as it goes up, it comes up the other side. And because I haven't controlled the maximum speed of the object, it's going to get faster and faster. But that's how wrap works here. Now, underneath gravity, let's put that back down to 0, is color. I've noticed a lot of people when they're uploading games that they actually make an actor and put it there and change the color of that, and that just takes away some of your resources because the game has to actually make that actor. But so quite simply, you can just click on the color and bring this all the way up and just choose the color you want as your background color, and that'll only affect this scene. When you go on to your next scene, you'll switch the color to whatever you want, or duplicate the color that you have here. If you need an exact color, like you're in Photoshop and you have some images that require a color and you want your background to be the identical color, you can simply go into the image management in your image program, find the red, green, and blue values, key them in here, and your background color will be the color that you're desired. Camera, I don't really use these features here, tracking area, mainly because you have a camera up here that can control that, and you can adjust this, and as you see, as I'm adjusting, the numbers here are changing. So it's a little simpler than keying in manual values for this, but that's where you find them if you need to do that. Over here, beside attributes, is layers, and this is a good feature to keep things cleaner. Let's say you have your controls. And a lot of people are asking, when my actor moves, the controls are leaving the scene. So a simple solution is you put all your controls on a single layer and then uncheck scrollable. And what that does is it keeps the actors that are in that layer stationary, no matter what's moving in your scene. That those will always stay where they're told, and you use that for score, time, your controllers, anything you want to just stay put and not move. And to create a new layer, you just click on layer, and you can drag images from layers to layers. Um, One thing to know about attributes is whatever you set them for, that's the way they're going to stay for the entire game on that scene. You can't control them from in the game. So you can't say if actor collides with another actor, change gravity to 200. It's just not a feature that they've added yet. So make sure when you're setting all this, it's exactly what you want for the scene, because you cannot edit it while in gameplay. Now, let's go to home, and let's say you have all your settings the way you want it, but your next scene you want the same settings. If you click on the plus and go into the scene, you're going to notice that they're all reset to the default values. A simple solution is delete that layer. Hold down the Alt Option button, click and drag that scene. So now you've made a copy of that scene, and if you go into Scene, Attributes, you'll notice your settings are still there. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask in the forums, and I'm sure myself or someone else will be happy to help.